Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Gemini January 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing is, well, as far as January goes, the sun will be in Capricorn from the 1st until the 20th. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, this could be a lot about putting a lot of focus, concentration of energy and attention into structure, discipline, even perhaps in one's, it could be in maybe starting a new, for example, in a sexual relationship or intimate relationship. It could be whether it's a new one or it's an existing one. It could be about showing a lot of responsibility to 8th house matters such as taxes, insurance matters, and even in some cases it could even be dealing with death, and in doing so in a way where you might not be expressing like this overabundance of emotion. We're talking about Capricorn energy. And of course, which could be somewhat undemonstrative. And Gemini, of course, is not exactly known for having really long sustained emotions anyway. And it also could be about shining in 8th house matters, such as the astrology, the occult, supernatural matters connected with making a major change or transformation, and maybe even making a major change and transformation with that. Really that strong premeditative Capricorn-like ability, or manner. Next thing is, well, as far as January goes, the sun will be in Aquarius from the 20th until the 31st. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, there could be a lot of this focus and attention, concentration of energy and power put into perhaps maybe wanting a freedom and really not really being inhibited, perhaps from foreign travel, making long journeys. It could also be in what you choose in terms of a higher education subject, your abstract thinking. This could also be about, even in some cases, showing maybe it could be showing ingenuity, showing an innovative, being innovative perhaps in that abstract thinking. This could also be in philosophical outlook perhaps. So, and really it also can be about really, you look at this and also maybe just a general focus and concentration of energy on just general freedom and independence in terms of what you want to believe as far as your philosophy goes, and and even something connected with religion as well. Well, the next thing is the full moon will be in Cancer on January 2nd, so the 2nd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, this could be about perhaps in some cases a closing of a real estate or property or land deal. It could be where maybe Gemini is tired perhaps of some financial or monetary situation. It could be connected with the family or with the home. And it just in general, it could be with a lot of really unrestrained, uninhibited outpouring of emotions. This could be about something where maybe you've kind of like in a Cancerian-like way, you cling to something, maybe a value to maybe a little bit too long, or even or something connected with your possession or something of a monetary nature, and you're just become tired of it at this time. Anyway, the next thing I want to get at is now, as far as the new moon will be in Capricorn on January 16th, so the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, this could be about Gemini perhaps It could be embarking in some cases on a new sexual, intimate relationship, which could be with an older person. It could be just done with a lot of maturity and responsibility. It could also be about maybe something, looking at this, well, in some cases, a new ambition, maybe that is started, and it could be something eighth house related. It could be something connected with the astrology, supernatural, the occult. It could be something connected with transformation, such as recycling, maybe rebuilding, things like rebuilding vehicles, or psychology or psychiatry, something of an investigative nature, perhaps. So, anyway, the next thing I want to get at is, well, Mercury, as far as January goes, will be in Sagittarius from the 1st until the 11th. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, you might be really be inclined to speak that veritable Sagittarius-like truth, perhaps in matters with just relationships in general, with others in general, even over legal matters. It could be with open adversaries where you're speaking in a very blunt to even tactless and outspoken manner. This is where basically you want to lay the law down, so to speak, and it comes through with what maybe you're saying in 7th house matters. This could also be a lot of an enthusiastic and really thinking very positively about things connected with the 7th house. It could be over a business partnership, maybe your relationship. Maybe you feel very positive about this and thinking very positively. Anyway, and it could also indicate a lot more communications that could be of a legal nature at this time, because the 7th house is about those matters, and it might be a lot more thinking also about things just in 7th house in general, such as relationship issues, business partnerships. It could even be dealing with open adversaries, but as I stated before, Sagittarius energy very positively as well. So anyway, well, the next thing is, well, as far as January goes, Mercury will be in Capricorn from the 12th until the 31st, as far as January goes, and the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, Gemini needs to be careful not to really be thinking maybe too pessimistically, or thinking and really becoming too melancholy over 8th house matters, such as taxes, even wills, inheritances, or debts, because this Mercury in Capricorn can be somewhat negative energy in terms of thinking, but at the same time, it could give structured, disciplined thinking in those matters as well, such as matters connected with an intimate relationship, sexual relationship, with those taxes, with matters pertaining to insurance, and also making a major change or transformation of thinking may be somewhat introspective as far as this goes, and you may not really act on these matters until a lot of premeditation in your mind, and be really planning things out mentally before you may act on them. So anyway, well, as far as January goes, Venus will be in Capricorn from the 1st until the 17th. So the 8th house, again, is what is emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, Gemini, if unattached, you may be involved and become involved in maybe an intimate or sexual relationship with somebody that is older. In some cases, it could be a Capricorn, or a Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply somebody that embodies those characteristics. In some cases, this could be indicative of receiving money from an inheritance or will, but because it's Capricorn, it could be there might be some restriction, limitation connected with it. I mean, if you have something like if this transit, let's say you have the Venus in Capricorn actually is in your 8th house in your natal chart, and it makes, say, a sextile or trine to Jupiter, this could obviously be more auspicious. So anyway, well, the next thing I want to get at is that, okay, as far as January goes, Venus will be in Aquarius from the 17th until the 31st, so the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, if unattached, Gemini may meet maybe somebody, maybe a prospective or potential love that might be somewhat eccentric or might be very unique and unconventional. It could be a person that they meet during their maybe in some long distance journey traveling abroad, maybe somebody they meet at a college or university. It could also be a time for Gemini where they might be expressing well, there might be some spending connected on something Aquarius-like in matters associated with foreign travel, and it could be, for example, getting a computer electronic device for foreign travel, like a GPS system, say, for traveling in foreign lands. This could also be about having enjoyment in expressing new and innovative ideas, perhaps, and doing things of an unusual nature, perhaps with foreigners. And it could be, in some cases, the 9th house, I mean, we're talking about 9th house is connected with in-laws and grandchildren, and expressing them those ideas, perhaps, or doing enjoyable things that are somewhat unique and maybe even unusual, and doing them with in-laws and grandchildren if applicable. So anyway, well, the next thing is, well, Mars will be in Scorpio as far as January goes, from the 1st until the 26th. So for Gemini, the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Gemini, well, the first thing is there could be more contentious and acrimonious situations at the workplace than usual. It could be bitterness connected with jealousy, and really in a lot of vengeful and vindictive anger as well could be directed at another employee, or maybe directed at you from one or more fellow employees. Also, be careful about accidents at work at this time as well, Gemini, because this could indicate a greater propensity for that. And also, this could be, I mean, be careful as far as health issues go, because as I stated before, you're talking about Mars in 6th house energy, the accidents, propensity for accidents at work, and also perhaps, I mean, especially if this is actually, you know, not literally in your 6th house and say making an inconjunct to Gemini Ascendant, well, this could be maybe some issues due to overexertion, perhaps using an overabundance of energy and vitality at work could lead to overexertion, and using a lot of that in really intense and passionate Scorpio energy. So that's something to look at as far as that goes. So anyway, and also even possible headaches could be increased a little bit at this time as well. So anyway, well, the next thing is, well, as far as January goes, Mars will be in Sagittarius from the 26th until the 31st. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, there might be more acrimonious and contentious situations, perhaps connected with a significant other. It could even be ones dealing with open adversaries and people in the courtroom. This could be really about expressing, I mean, a lot of, there's this anger that could be expressed, but it would be perhaps associated with speaking that Sagittarius like veritable truth, and done in a way where words may not be minced, so to speak. And also, I mean, keep in mind that we're talking about, I mean, the 7th house, I mean, could be about legal issues, and you have Mars there, so it shows that these legal issues can get, if you're involved in any, can be a little bit more contentious than usual. This could also be about doing things more maybe energy and vitality put into the outdoors and sports more than usual, and it could be done with a significant other, with others in general, and maybe it could even be with somebody that you might be in a business partnership with. So anyway, well, the next thing is Jupiter will be in Scorpio still, of course. So the sixth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, one thing to look at is that, I mean, remember, as I've talked about previously in other videos, that Jupiter can be, well, somewhat paradoxical. It's very benign and benevolent, but it could also be, I mean, it's a planet that can also enlarge and expand. And it could also expand a surreptitious activity in the workplace, and sometimes even criminal or nefarious activity, I would believe, as well. So it's something to be careful of at this time. And also, we're talking about the health, so it could expand Scorpio-like health issues, such as something connected with that private sector, so to speak. So it's something to be careful of at this time for Gemini. And at the same time, I mean, Jupiter in sixth house, it still could be very fortuitous for work and employment at this time. It could be something Scorpio related, such as astrology, the occult, supernatural, magic, alchemy, something connected with transformation, forensics. It could be, you know, psychology, psychiatry, and also very good luck in getting to the bottom of things in matters connected with a health matter, somebody maybe in your daily routine, or something at your employment, at your workplace, or even if you're trying to find, say, a lost pet. I think this could help because, I mean, Jupiter, of course, is benign and very fortuitous energy, coupled with the fact Scorpio is good as energy about getting to the bottom of things and being very investigative. So anyway, next thing is, well, Saturn will be in Capricorn. So the eighth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, in general, Gemini might experience a lot more restrictions and limitations in eighth house matters. It could be matters with taxes, with insurance. It could be with making a major change or transformation, or maybe some kind of rebirth of some kind. This could also be, I mean, a thing that to look at is this. There may also be in some cases, maybe you could be taking care of perhaps a debilitated or sickly a person that may be, it could be someone in a sexual relationship with, someone that you're involved in an intimate relationship with. And this could, or somebody that figures prominently with you with shared resources, such as some kind of a joint account. And you might be, and it could be that this person, you might be debilitated or have some kind of restriction or limitation. It might be causing you maybe to feel a little bit, you know, melancholy or despondent, since we're talking about Capricorn energy along with Saturn. So anyway, but at the same time, it also can give structure and discipline in eighth house matters as well. So the next thing I want to talk about is, well, Uranus will still be in Aries. So for Gemini, the 11th houses will be emphasized and highlighted. So for Gemini at this time, well, this could be about expressing more ingenuity than usual. And it could be done in a very Aries pioneering-like way. At the same time, Uranus could also be very unpredictable energy. It could be where you might experience a lot of fluctuations and ups and downs in matters connected with friends, with acquaintances. This could also be about perhaps incorporating ingenuity into your aspirations and goals, or doing something Uranus-like in matters in connection with it. It could be something where you're doing something that's computer or electronic related, something associated with an esoteric subject like astrology might figure prominently in your goals and aspirations. And anyway, the next thing I want to get at is Neptune. Okay, of course, will still be in Pisces, so the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, Gemini might experience maybe dealing with maybe in some cases an authority figure or the dominant parent, which is often the father, that might be somewhat duplicitous or deceptive. It could even be about one or more of these people maybe succumbing to drugs or alcohol. This could be about, in some isolated cases, where your reputation might be affected through some kind of slander, through deception, through some kind of lie. And really, in 10th house matters right now, I mean, might be somewhat unclear and nebulous. When we're talking about Neptune, it could be matters connected with your ambitions, your career aspirations, maybe even authority figures. The father or the dominant parent, which is often the father, might be a little bit vague, might be somewhat nebulous and unclear at this time. And you may not really be sure of what you're going to do in terms of your stature in life. So those are some things to look at this time. And also it could be that if you're going to make some kind of career change, it could be something Neptune related, such as chemistry, photography, the metaphysical, which of course includes astrology, something of a spiritual nature perhaps. It could be something connected with pharmaceutical work. So anyway, well, the next thing I'm going to get at is Pluto, of course, is still in Capricorn. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, I mean, I know a lot of you don't want to hear the dreaded D word, but of course you know I'm going to say it. That in some isolated cases, it could be the death of somebody that you're involved in an intimate relationship with, somebody that may be you might be having a sexual relationship with, or somebody that you're involved in matters with shared resources with, somebody that you might share a joint account with, for example, although that could be very isolated, of course. And also remember that Pluto, unlike Saturn, can really obliterate and destroy, where Saturn can restrict and limit. Pluto can obliterate and destroy. In some cases, maybe it could be matters with taxes or some kind of insurance matter could end with when you're talking about Pluto in 8th house energy. Also, though, this could be about power issues, perhaps with a sexual partner as well. So I mean, those are definitely some things to look at this time. And really, it could also be a very good period for making a major change or transformation, because you're talking about Pluto that is associated with that, and also the 8th house as well. It could be giving you wanting to have power in that situation and control in making that a major change or transformation. Anyway, well, the next thing is North Node will still be in Leo, so the 3rd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time, when you're talking about North Node energy, and it's in it like a transit, it could be about confronting issues. This could be about confronting perhaps a domineering or overbearing sibling, if applicable. It could be a neighbor. It could be over perhaps extravagant issues connected with the sibling, or maybe having to spend more money than you want with the sibling, or maybe even someone you know in your neighborhood, like a neighbor, of course. Also, this could be also about receiving attention and getting notoriety and exposure, perhaps for things of a communication, something connected with a communication, such as a blog or writing, or whether it's public speaking. It's something over, perhaps over some kind of writing or communication that you might be looking for attention and some kind of exposure associated with, getting notoriety perhaps. And also this could be about, at the same time, I mean, you look at the 3rd house and you're talking about Leo energy. This could also be about the maybe being pulled, you could say maybe pulled toward, or really having to, in really focusing energy perhaps on maybe matters as far as extroversion, being more extroverted with your neighbors, showing a more extroverted side of yourself with them. Also with siblings, if applicable, and maybe people that you know during your short journeys and trips. So anyway, Well, the next thing is, well, the Black Moon Lilith will still be in Capricorn, so the 8th house will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, this could be, I mean, it could be an unveiling or a revelation, perhaps, of somebody you're in an intimate or sexual relationship with that might be showing maybe some really ruthless, even tyrannical qualities. This could also be maybe about a depressing sex life in some cases that may come out at this time that maybe you didn't really want revealed or unveiled, but yet it may still come out. Now, remember that the Black Moon, well, this could also be about, I mean, a formidable adversary. So in some cases, this could be about somebody that becomes a very formidable adversary that can be either a Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or some cases just simply embody those characteristics. It might be involved in an 8th house matter that you're involved. It could be somebody, it could be a sexual partner, or as somebody you have an intimate relationship with, somebody you're involved with a joint account with. It could be somebody that may have been involved with your taxes or insurance matters with you, for example. And also if you're doing some 8th house work, for example, such as if you're doing something with astrology or tarot reading or something with the supernatural, it could be somebody that maybe you knew through that outlet, so to speak, and maybe becomes that strong enemy, one of your, an enemy of you. So anyway, last but not least, Chiron will still be in Pisces, so the 10th houses will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, this could be about perhaps dealing with some emotional wounds, perhaps in career matters, which is associated with maybe gullibility, in some cases maybe believing, maybe some things, for example, that a supervisor told you that you were going to, for example, get a raise, or you were going to improve your stature and standing with the corporation, and they didn't come through for you. You might have feel like you were, maybe duped. Or it could be also matters with the dominant parent, which is often the father, maybe matters connected with gullibility with that person. And in some cases, this could also be about maybe dealing with some deception that had impacted maybe your reputation or public image in a very adverse or negative way. And anyway, but on the positive side, though, you can also remember that Chiron is the wounded healer, so you might be able to heal people with matters that you're dealing with Chiron, Pisces, 10th house, that you're having trouble healing yourself. You could heal others with that in dealing with the similar situations, perhaps in doing so with that Pisces compassion and self-sacrifice energy. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Gemini January 2018 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be giving you my Cancer January 2018 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.